Everybody, welcome back to another SAT video. This question is for the official 2024 Test Bundle 6, Module 2 of the Math section. The function f is defined by the given equation, which is up here. The equation can be rewritten as f of x is equal to 1 plus p over 100 all raised to the x power, where p is a constant. Which of the following is the closest to the value of p? All right, so right off the bat, notice one thing. Even though they give us two equations, remember it's saying the equation can be rewritten as, right, f of x. So that means this equation is exactly the same as this equation, albeit in just a different form, right? And one thing that, well, obviously, 1.84 does not look like that, right? But another thing is the exponent, right? We have only an x over here, but we have an x over 4 on this exponent. So maybe let's try and start with that, right? So we have our equation, f of x is equal to 1.84 all raised to the x over 4 power, right? So we can actually try and make this exponent only x, right? And the way we can do that is by remembering a certain property of exponents, right? Or not even really a certain property of exponents, just a certain property of numbers, right? So if we have x over 4, we can rewrite x over 4 as x times 1 over 4, right? So with that in mind, we could actually rewrite this part of the equation, right? We can rewrite this as f of x is equal to 1.84 to the 1/4 power times the x power, right? So now we can actually kind of cordon off this term and evaluate it, right? Because we don't have any variables in here. We then would have some number raised to the x power, right? So luckily for you, you can use your calculator to evaluate this, right? So you can just put in your calculator 1.84 to the 1/4 power, or you can put 1.84 raised to 0.25, whichever works for you, right? So I did that already. So now I know that f of x is equal to some number, right? Our number evaluates like 1.16, blah, 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 raised to the x power, right? So now we're getting closer. We now have a equation that has only an x, right, as the exponent, but still not very close, right? We need to make it in the form of 1 plus some fraction over 100, right? For this, I find it useful to basically recall how we interpret decimals, right? So just bear with me for a moment, right? So for example, when we have the number 2.51, right? We read this as like the units place, right? This is not the tenths place, or the tens place, but rather it's the tenths place, right? So this is our tenths, and this is our 100ths place, right? So we have our tenths place here and 100th place, right? So if we were to rewrite this number 2.51 as a fraction, we could actually write it as 2 plus 51 over 100, right? Because we can imagine we're just basically saying we have a whole number 2 and 51 100ths, right? Because we know that this decimal goes all the way down to the tenths and the 100ths place. Similarly, we can do the exact same thing here. So we do f of x is equal to 1 plus, now remember we have our tenths and hundredths, and we can keep on going on and on, right? But we're just going to stop at the 100ths here, and we then have 16 over 100. Now, the reason I'm just not really caring about the rest of the decimals here is because if you look at our answer, they only have 2 digits, right? So that to me told me, okay, I don't really need to be super specific. We just are approximating. And also, it says which of the following is closest to the value of p, right? So they're not asking for the exact value, so that gives us a little bit of leeway. Anyways, So then we can finish that, and then we have an equation that looks like what they have in the rewritten form, right? 1 plus some number p over 100. And we know now that p is equal to 16, right? So that would be your answer, okay? Hopefully this video made sense. One concept to remember is just, that you can rewrite exponents, and if there is a variable in the exponent, you can rewrite it and then isolate the variable as its own exponent while evaluating the main term with the exponent that you do know. And then also that when you have decimals, you can rewrite decimals as fractions, right? So you can write 2.51 as 2 plus 51 over 100, or you could even do it with just a decimal that's like this, 1.1, right? Because we have, that's not straight, 1.1. So we have 1 and 1/10, or you can rewrite that as 1 plus 1 over 10, right? So those are two concepts that would help you figure out this problem. Again, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if there's anything I can do to improve these videos, make them more useful. As always, check out Khan Academy. Khan Academy has a bunch of free resources for the SAT that will help you get a great score.